What's going on, everybody? This is Joe. I am back once again, once it figures out what it's doing, to do some Ixalan drafting. It's been a week, because that's how we do things here. Ugh. This is not that good of a pack, at least in my opinion. Water Trap Weaver's good, but if you've been watching recently, doesn't do super well for us to be in the Merfolk deck, which also means the Deeproot Warrior's probably not good. I've been burned before. This pack is very red leaning. Marauding Looter's not bad, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go with the Paladin of the Bloodstained. It's okay. I'm not super happy with it as a pack one pick one, but I guess Stormfleet Arsonist isn't bad either, right? They're both high drops in a pretty fast format, which is not something I'm super happy with. So it's actually kind of a toss-up. That's an interesting choice. I'm gonna take the Arsonist. I've convinced myself. It's an uncommon as well, which is kind of a good push. Although this deck is this pack is super red, so I don't really want to be putting somebody else in red. Fine. I've convinced myself again. Paladin it is. Indecisiveness is the name of the game today. We have a foil Sun Petal Grove. We have a Deeproot Waters and a Kumena's Speaker, a Jungle Delver, a Pounce, a Shaper Apprentice, and we're trying to force not Merfolk. But to be fair, we also have Anointed Deacon and Skymarch Bloodletter, and so I'm going to take the Anointed Deacon here. We're kind of going in that vampire direction anyway. I will not be that guy and force it if it's not actually there. Inspiring Cleric is fine too, but I think Anointed Deacon is better. A little expensive, which is unfortunate after having taken a 4, but still, it's exactly the card the deck needs. Foil Sun Petal Grove, while cool, I don't know how valuable it is on Magic Online, and I'd like to actually do well today, so I'm going to pick this Anointed Deacon. Okay, this pack is much, much better for us. Unfriendly Fire is a good card. I wouldn't have been upset with that if we had taken the uncommon, but again, it's likely that multiple people that we're passing to will be in red with how much red was in that pack. There's a Seeker Squire, which is okay. It doesn't have any tribal synergies, but to be fair, if we took the Armasaur, that wouldn't have any tribal strategies, at least in this deck either. We could also just do a Blightkeeper. Once again, no tribal synergies. But between Blightkeeper and Seeker Squire, I actually don't quite know. I guess Seeker Squire is card advantage, and it's an uncommon again, as we talked about before. So I think I'll take the Squire here over the Blightkeeper. It's more likely that we'll see Blightkeepers later, but Seeker Squire is a 2-drop. It's a 1-2 that could be a 2-3, or it could get you a land. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, especially if we have higher drops. At this point, getting a land is not a big deal. There's another Armasaur here. There's a Direfleet Interloper. There's more things trying to push me into Merfolk. But again, if you have not watched recently, I've had some issues. And this card, on paper or in paper, I have a million of these. And I'm not... I mean, it's a fine card, right? But... all right, so between the Armasaur and the Interloper, I think the Interloper is better for us. We have another Explore card, which is nice, 2 in a row. But it's also its menace. It's a little bit more aggressive. So yeah, I'm going to take that over the Armasaur here. There's another Deeproot Waters. There's a Sheltering Light, which is a fantastic card. There's also a Legion Conquistador. It's the first one we've seen, at least that I can recall. If we see more, I might lean towards it. It's not bad, especially if you have cards that care about vampires. But I think Sheltering Light is just a lot better. It's an uncommon. It's in the colors. It's a really good combat trick where you can kind of save, one of your creatures like this or something like that if they decide to get aggressive with blocking. So I'm going to take the Sheltering Light. Like I said, if we see more Legion Conquistadors, we might consider going in on that. And considering that there's really nothing else here for us, Desperate Castaways isn't bad, but we have no artifact synergies with like Hierophant's Chalices or, more importantly, treasures. And Heartless Pillage I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm going to go with the Conquistador, and if we can get a bunch of them, if nobody else wants them, we could have a pretty sweet vampire deck getting Legion Conquistadors. So Okay, here's another Blight Keeper like we talked about. There's also a Raptor Companion, and there's a Queen's Bay Soldier. I think in this instance, I will probably go for the Blight Keeper now. Raptor Companion's nice. Blight Keeper is cheaper. And I didn't mean to rhyme there. I'm not a fan of Encampment Keeper, but I like Blight Keeper quite a bit. So, and I think, like I said, I think I value it a little bit higher than Raptor Companion personally. This is a 3-1, but it can get pretty aggressively blocked, whereas this has evasion and kind of inevitability later in the game if you want to just leave it back and try to get your opponent with its ability. Interesting. Well, there's not a ton here for us. The foil Sentinel Totem is nice and all, but I don't think it's something we're taking. But to be fair, the only other things for us here are the Grim Captain's Call, the Desperate Castaways, and the Hierophant's Chalice. We're not in any other colors. We're pretty solidly in black and white. So maybe I take the Desperate Castaways, and if I get anything that makes treasure, I can get benefited for that later on. But for now, I'll probably put it in the side. Okay, so this was our opening pack. We still have our rare and our uncommon in here, which is one of our uncommons, which is just lovely. Don't you love seeing that? So we could take a Costly Plunder and, again, have it be the kind of thing that, you know, I guess we could do the Raiders Wake as well. I'll keep it in the side, but if we're going to be super aggressive, that's not a bad thing, where we would make them discard and then lose life in the process. Yeah, see, there's 3, like, Merfolk Matters cards here. I'll take the Altasaur and put it in the sideboard. I don't want it, but it's in our color. It's in one of our colors, I should say. Wow, that Blight Keeper came back? That's good to know. I guess we're in the right color, at least in black. Does that Conquistador come back too? I'll take a Sunrise Seeker. Not amazing. Costly Plunder is fine for the side. Hierophant's Chalice, same thing. Not terrible picks, and a land. That's not bad, guys. No off-color choices so far in Pack 1. That's a really good sign for us going into Pack 2. I am very happy that we didn't fall into the Merfolk trap, because I do think that that's what it was. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I actually really like the Merfolk archetype, but the last 2 times I've tried it, it has not really worked out for me. You can, like I said, you can feel free to go back and watch those if you'd like. Adanto Vanguard is great choice. Slash of Talons would be fine, or Mark of the Vampire on the way back. Duress and Demystify are not as exciting for me. Sunbird's Invocation isn't anything for me. Snapping Sailback isn't anything for this deck, but is a great card. Same with Fire Cannon Blast. But I'm going to take the Adanto Vanguard and actually be pretty happy about it. I would like to get some like Bishop Soldiers or something to actually have some lifelink and start gaining some life so that we can use this second ability a little bit more often. But it's 100% the Vanguard here. We're just cutting white, or we're cutting our archetype pretty heavily out of this pack. So. Ooh, okay, so a Daring Saboteur is a good card, not in our deck, but we do have a Blood Crazed Paladin. I don't necessarily know how good it's going to be for us. If we have some ways of making tokens, if we can get Call to the Feast or Queen's Commissions, and then we can just attack in with a bunch of little 1/1s that they're going to be happy to block, we'll gain a bunch of life, which will be nice, and then we can flash this guy in and or leave them back to block with, I guess, depending on what our opponent's doing, and then flash this guy in and just have it be nice and big and a vampire in the process, which is great. Plus, there's really not anything else for us in this pack, but this is cool. I mean, I guess the other person took a common out of here, because there's a rare, there's a foil rare, and all 3 uncommons are still here. That's interesting. I can't imagine what common they might have taken, but if they're not in blue or black, I guess. So anyway, I take the Blood Crazed Vampire very happily. There's a Shining Aerosaur, a Skittering Heartstopper, and a Sky Terror. I'm not looking at Imperial Lancer because we don't have the dinos to make it worth it. I'm not putting in Looming Altasaur for it. Man, if this comes around, if this wheels, I will definitely consider splashing red for it. But for now, in terms of flyers, I think I'm going to go with this Altasaur. If the Heartstopper comes back and the Sky Terror doesn't, then I'll take the Heartstopper. But I like Shining Aerosaur here. We're a little heavy on 5, but I think I'm okay with taking out the Sunrise Seeker to get that flyer in there. Here's another Interloper, an Ixali's Diviner with a weird art until this figures out what it's doing. Here we go. So yeah, there's the Hoarder and the Interloper, both from the Dire Fleet, which is interesting. We already have a Dire Fleet Interloper, but I think it's a better card than the Hoarder. But I think because we have some 5s and 4s, it's not a terrible idea to get one of these. But it is a human pirate, but so is this. So it's actually kind of a tough choice. As always, if you have strong opinions about a pick that I should have made or shouldn't have made, as always, let me know in the comments. That's why I make these, so that we can have those kinds of discussions. It can probably help me become a better player, and you guys, if you hear my opinions and you think that makes some kind of sense. Which is doubtful, but at least we can try, right? It's a faster format. I'm going to go with the 2 and hope that the 4 comes back. We have a Ruthless Knave, a Skittering Heartstopper, another Shining Aerosaur, a Queen's Bay Soldier, Spreading Rot's not really anything, and a Hierophant's Chalice. Ruthless Knave, while a good card, is not really for us. I don't really need to be ramping. I don't really need to be color fixing. So it's between Queen's Bay Soldier, the Heartstopper, and the Aerosaur. And once again, I think I'm taking another 5 here with the Aerosaur. It may mean that cards like this become a little bit more valuable to us because we're trying to get to our 5 drops. And if we have one or more than one in our hand early on and we're a little low on land, that can be pretty debilitating. But this is such a good card. It's such a good card that I can't consider not taking it, especially against just the Heartstopper. I'm not taking this. I'll take a March of the Drowned. We have some pirates, but not a ton. But we can also just put this in the sideboard. I mean, the fact that this is still here is surprising to me. Like, very surprising to me. This card's great. We're talking about a fast format. This card can easily win you the game. This is tough. I feel like this could wheel, to be honest. I don't know that it's worse than March of the Drowned, though. I mean, I guess we get one thing back, and if it's one of our Aerosaurs or our Anointed Deacon, that's kind of a big deal. That's an interesting choice. I'm going to go with the... Wow. Yeah, I'm going to pivot. I'll take the life gain because we have things like where is it? The Adanto Vanguard. That's what it was. It's the only thing right now that cares about life, but it's not the only one in the set, and we still have another pack coming up. So that was my rationale there. There's nothing for us here. I'll take the Duress. I'm not a huge fan of Duress in this format and or in limited. We do have 2 Explore creatures right now, so it also goes in the sideboard. Wow, interesting. All right, I guess I'll take this for the side again if we see an enchantment that matters. There's nothing else, so we take the totem and don't play it. Oh, no. Why are you still here? It's going in the side. If I can play it, I will. But I probably can't. I'll take the Demystify again. Ugh. End of pack 2, not so good for us. Not so good. Fine. Spreading Rot. Whatever. It doesn't matter. We already have a Hierophant's Chalice. Now we have a Spreading Rot. Those are end of the pack kind of picks. I think we're doing okay. We need a good number of more playables. But I guess we could toss in things like Raider's Wake or Costly Plunder or whatever to try to get this up a little bit more. But we also have to see what this pack has in store for us. 9 picks is kind of high. We could always put in this Sunrise Seeker or an Altasaur, I guess, if we're trying, but that's a little, oh, okay. Swashbuckling, sure. And a Plains. Great. Yeah, we got to get some stuff out of pack 3. We get, well, there's another Anointed Deacon. There's an Ashes of the Abhorrent, which we're not doing. even though it's somewhat life gain. We hope that the Skyblade comes back or the Anointed Deacon, because I'm taking Ixalan's Binding. Don't think I didn't see it there. I saw it. I'm taking Ixalan's Binding. It's removal. We don't really have a lot of that yet, if any. And Ixalan's Binding is pretty important, so I'm going to take it. I like the card a lot. It's great. Removal's important, and that's what we're going with. If Deacon comes back, I'm over the moon. If Skyblade or Vampire's Zeal comes back, I'm still super happy. If none of those three come back, I'm upset. And there's a third Deep-Root Waters in this draft. A fourth Deep-Root Waters in this draft. Interesting. Okay, well, we have another Interloper. We were talking about that earlier, but there's also a Vanquish the Weak. And we were just talking about being light on removal. So, Vanquish the Weak is 100% my pick, and I hope that this comes back, although I doubt it. Okay. Well, now we have... Wow. 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 Okay. I asked for stuff out of pack 3. I think I got it. I'm going to take the Pious Interdiction. It gains us life. I think it's better than Bright Reprisal because they have to be attacking with the creature for Bright Reprisal to work, despite the fact that it draws us a card. This gains us life and just makes the creature unable to attack or block, which is usually the thing that is more relevant to us, because if it has some kind of an activated ability that we don't want to have to deal with, it might not be attacking anyway. So yeah, I'm going to take the Pious Interdiction. It's one less mana as well. So yeah, removal, as I was saying, is pretty important, and that's like 100% what we're getting here. Here's another one. I'll take it over the Bloodfast. I think it's fine. I don't think we have a ton of life gain, and it's just more life gain for us. Like, it makes black mana, but it just gains us more life, which I think Pious Interdiction also gains us life, but also is pseudo removal for a creature on top of that, which is important. The Bloodfast may wheel, to be honest, but Pious Interdiction probably would not, and I'm going to take it happily. Wow. Getting hooked up. There's another Legion Conquistador. There's a Queen's Agent. This pack's insane for us. I'm taking the Bishop's Soldier and hoping the Conquistador comes back. I guess we're technically missing... Somebody may have taken the other one, and there may be others that we haven't commented on. There's a third Armasaur as well, but Bishop Soldier is exactly what this deck wants. So it's exactly what I'm taking. Wow. Wow, okay. Pack 3 is just our pack now, right? I think we go with Glorifier. It's a 5-drop, which really sucks for us, but it's a vampire. We can pay some life to get some benefits. We are gaining life now with Pious Interdictions, and if we keep the Sanguine Sacrament in as well, that can help us quite a bit. So I'm going to take this Glorifier of Dusk happily. Inspiring Cleric is great, and it's a lower drop, and it gains us life, but we need some things to do with that life, besides just sponge up damage from our more aggressive opponents. So we have a Skymarch Bloodletter and a Direfleet Interloper. I think in this case, despite the fact that I love Interloper, Bloodletter is better for our deck. It's a vampire, it flies, it drains, and it's cheaper than the Interloper. So that's like 100% my pick here. Cutthroat, Queen's Agent, not really looking at these white cards. Interesting. We don't really have, besides the Paladin, we don't really have anything that makes 1/1 vampires, which kind of sucks. I would have loved any of them, any Queen's Commissions, or any Call to the Feast, but we didn't see them, and that's kind of ideally where this goes, is it, you know, we attack with the 1/1 or we block with the 1/1. Well, we would have to attack because it would be when this comes into play, but we would attack with the 1/1, they'd block, so I'm just going to take the Queen's Agent here. It's more exploring, which is nice. Yeah, see, our our foil uncommon and one of our other uncommons all came back. I don't think this is relevant at all for us, but I'm not a huge fan of either of these. I guess I'll take the Costly Plunder to go with the other one that we have. Of course that would happen. Great. Okay, well, there's another Queen's Agent. That's fine. Ugh, I'll take this Ritual and not play it. Sure. We have some red that we're not playing. And our first green card of the draft. Okay. So, we can look at this a little bit. We do have 23, but we are a little heavy on the high end. We have like barely any 3-drops. We have a good number of 2s. We have a good number of 4s. And then we have 4 5s, 2 6s, and an X spell. I guess Sanguine Sacrament doesn't exactly count, but let's see what happens when we group creatures separately. We look at it like this. Our removal suite that we picked up in pack 3 exclusively is these 4 cards, which is great, don't get me wrong. We have some life gain in Sanguine Sacrament, along with some life link creatures like Bishop Soldier and our 2 Queen's Agents. But what could we put in instead? We don't really have a ton of things that make artifacts, so despite the fact that this is a great card, I don't know how well it's going to work for us. There's 3 costly plunders. We might be able to get rid of a Queen's Agent for it if we find that we're very high up there in terms of mana cost. And I think that's kind of it. I mean, if we have to board in a Demystify or 2, we have to, but I don't really see it happening. If we have an opponent who's super aggressive with color choices, we can consider spreading Rot as well, but I don't think we need more 5s. But otherwise, this is 23, and I think that's what we're going to go with. I guess we could replace something with a Hierophant's Chalice if we really wanted to. I thought we had 2. Did we not have 2? All right, well, we have 1. That's fine right here. But yeah, so I think I'm going to add some lands to this deck. Let's see what it recommends. 9/8 white to black seems totally fine to me. I'm going to save this deck, guys. As always, let me know what you think, but maybe wait until after the games, because who the heck knows? I've thought decks were amazing, and I've done very poorly. I've thought decks were just okay, and I've gone 3-0. So stay tuned. Obviously, it'll be just a second, but I'll see you guys back with the deck for round 1. All right, we are back. Let's see if we can... Oh, my God, this hand. Wow, mulligan. Easy mulligan. This is better. Not amazing, but better. Ixalan's Binding can sure stay on top, yeah. That's great. Yeah, I guess I don't mind this hand. I guess I spoke too soon. It's a fine card. The Hoarder is good. I guess it depends on what they play as well. But the Hoarder is a nice thing to play if they've played something already. But if not, we have the Vanguard. So let's go land and pass. And see what they've got going on as well. Okay. So yeah, this is the deciding factor. If they play something here, they do. They play a Raptor Companion. Huh. Ooh, we have a Bishop Soldier, though. Okay. Bishop Soldier it is. Yeah. I'm more than happy to kill this thing to let them get a 3/3, and I'll gain a life, and then we can do other shenanigans afterwards. So yeah, that's fine. I'm curious whether they attack or just leave it back on defense, but... They attack. All right, sure. You can have a 3/3. If they have a combat trick of some kind, that's fine too. But if not, they're just trying to get a dinosaur. That's fine. And they chart a course. And they attacked, so that's fine. We will not attack this turn, but we can... The question is, do we play the Hoarder? I think we play the Hoarder this turn, allowing us to set up for 5 next turn with the Aerosaur, because presumably they're attacking. I don't mind taking 2 off trample, but we can play the Hoarder. I could have also played the Vanguard and given it indestructible, but that's not a path to getting this thing dead sooner rather than later. So, because we want to be a little bit faster than this. So, the sooner we can get this threat, aka blocker, off the board, the better it'll be for us. Do they attack? We could theoretically double block. I'm not going to, but they might think we will. I'm just going to get this treasure and then play a 3/4. And or Ixalan's Binding. Yep. That's fine with me. And then they play the Marauding Looter. And They can draw a card and then discard a card if they want. Let's see what they discard. Give us more information. It's an island. That's not more information, really. But we drew a Pious Interdiction. That's pretty sweet. What is this, a 4/3? Okay, well, we can Ixalan's Binding the 4/3. That'll be cool. Because Pious Interdiction works better on this because this has the raid, the activated ability, or the raid ability. So let's play Ixalan's Binding on this, and then we can actually get in for 2, which is nice, and gain some life. We'll go up to 22, we'll then take 3, and go back down to 19, but still, I think that's just fine. All right, so let's attack, gain some life, and have that be the end of it. Sweet. I will take 3. Let's see what they have as a follow-up. Nothing. Actual nothing with blue and red? That's a little upsetting. Let's attack first then. Before we play out this Aerosaur. Hopefully we'll draw the spell or combat trick or whatever you want to call it for our Bishop Soldier. No? They are waiting. They haven't, like, passed it through, so they must have something. For 5 mana, I just have to expect it, right? Maybe... Oh, okay. Alright, well, I'll play a land for turn. I guess the question is, what do we do? If I do Adanto Vanguard, I can also do Pious Interdiction, but I could also just send out the Aerosaur. The issue is if they have something here, then we lose the Aerosaur, which sucks. But I think we've got enough going on as backup, so let's try it. And see what they do. They've got to have something. Yeah. Counterspell? Okay. Sure, it happens. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have countered the Vanguard, which I guess would have meant that we would have had this free creature, but then they probably would have countered the Interdiction after the fact on this thing. But now we have it as backup. They might just have another counterspell of some kind, but we'll see. Okay, they bounced it? Yeah, they Perilous Voyaged, bouncing Ixalan's Binding, and then played another one. So they did have 2. Fascinating. Okay. Okay. Well, we don't have 8, so we can't do both of these in one turn, but it would be Binding on one and Interdiction on the other. That's very interesting. I didn't necessarily put them on 2 of this gold uncommon, but it's definitely possible. They discarded a land and another land. And we drew another land. We actually have 7, which is interesting. So we can do one of these, but they already know we have the Binding, so we might as well Binding 1 and then play out the Vanguard. We know they don't have counter magic up because they have no lands whatsoever. Like I said, they already know we have the Binding, so we might as well just put it back. It allowed them to do it twice, so that's something. Okay, so we have 3 available, but we don't need it. We'll save the treasure. Play the Vanguard, because we can't attack with the Bishop Soldier. They have a 4/3 now, so... I could block if I had to on the 4/3 and pay the 4 life, but either way we're losing 4, so it doesn't necessarily matter as much to me. No attacks from me. That's the turn. Pious Interdiction will be nice to use on this. We can gain 2 life off of it as well. Let's see what they do. I assume they attack with both. Yeah, it just makes sense. I probably don't block. I'll go to 11. I can gain some life off this. I gain some life off this. So yeah, no blocks from me. They get to loot if they want. They're looting away a lot of land, which is good for them that they get to get rid of land, but it's unfortunate for us because they're digging through and filtering out some of that flooding. And now they get to kill both of our creatures because we F6, so we didn't get to pay the 4 life. That's interesting. Okay. Well, I guess that happens. We drew a land, of course. We can interdiction on this, gain 2 life, but it's still its ability is still going to be going off every turn that they're attacking with this. That was interesting. Okay, so for future reference, with the cards that we have to pay life for, we will not be skipping through our opponent's turn anymore. But now that that is not the case, we'll just skip through, gain some life. On board, they can bring us down to 10 this turn, but they can also loot, which is a thing. They're playing a Charging Monstrosaur. This is lovely. So we take 8 and go to 5. Bad turn to have played that right before they attack with that. Well, depending on what we draw, I'm pretty sure we've lost. If we get something to get rid of this, then we still have a possibility of only going to 2, but I am not super optimistic. Prosperous Pirates is in their graveyard. We drew a Legion Conquistador, which I totally forgot that we had it even in the deck. All right, well, what did we see from them? We're just going to concede, but I want to see what we saw. We saw burn spells, bounce spells, draw cards. Okay. Good to remember that. Let's concede this game and go to game 2. Charging Monstrosaur is a big game. Big deal. We could actually put Raider's Wake in. They were discarding quite a number of cards. That's pretty nice. I like that a lot. Because anytime they try to use that Marauding Looter, they can choose not to, I believe. But anytime they use it, they're going to lose 2 life in the process. And they used it quite a bit. So I'm going to put in the Raider's Wake. I think we take out the Conquistador. We literally only have 1, and it sucks because it's a 3 and we're putting in a 4 instead. But I don't think... I mean, we didn't have any land issues last game at all. So I say it and now it's going to happen because that's just how that works. But that's fine. I actually like Raider's Wake a lot against this opponent. Kind of feels good. Whoops. Come on. There we go. And we will say yes to playing first. Come on. What is with these opening hands? Ugh. This hand is worse somehow. We're on the play, but we do get to scry. And with this Bishop Soldier, like an idiot, I think I'm going to keep this. Ugh. Like I said, land issues, right? I literally just said it. Oh, they mulliganed as well. All right, well, we'll keep this on top. What do? They put it on the bottom. Okay, that's good for us. They were not happy with their choice. That's good. So we have Sheltering Light and Bishop Soldier. If we don't draw a swamp, we don't have anything else. But we actually need 2 more land before we have anything else that we can play creature-wise. But we can start with the Bishop Soldier. They loved it so much last game, we might as well play it this game. And if they don't have anything early on, which they now do, is it a Raptor Hatchling again? Jesus. All right. Fine, I guess. Interesting. Okay. I have passed. I don't know what they're... Okay. Very good. Oh, we drew a swamp. Sweet. All right, well, let's attack, I guess. Yeah, I mean, we definitely win the race, so we might as well attack. Or don't attack. Well, we only have... I guess we have the Sheltering Light as backup, but this would be untapped then? Or tapped, I mean. So they would have the 3/3 next turn as opposed to not having it next turn. So I will not attack, actually. I'm going to play this land, and I'm going to pass. The nice thing is if we draw another land, which I would really love, but I doubt is going to happen, we have the Interloper to follow it up with. All right, so they're going to scry now. We're also hoping to scry. They scried a land, I guess. Do they attack? I assume they do. They don't. Interesting choice. Okay. Well, we have Sanguine Sacrament. That sucks. We can gain 2 life. Do we attack? Otherwise, we do literally nothing else this turn. But the thing is, it gives them the 3/3 immediately on their turn with nothing on our board to block with. So I'm just going to go ahead and say no to the attack and pass. Maybe the wrong choice because we have the Sheltering Light, but it doesn't protect us. Like, it doesn't matter. This thing's just going to do the same thing it did last time. Die and become a 3/3. And then we need to be able to handle that 3/3. We'll have gained 2 life, so we'll just go to 19, but still, that's 3 free damage on their part that we're just letting them have, as opposed to actually being able to block this Raptor Hatchling and keeping Sheltering Light as backup in case they have some kind of a trick to make this bigger in some way. So let's see what they have. Nothing, again. And they play nothing. Well, we got our 4th land, so we have the Interloper. Obviously, the issue is we won't have Sheltering Light as backup, but we'll have the Interloper. And it explores, which is nice. So I'm going to play it. If they counter it, they counter it, right? We don't have any other options. We're waiting on our 5th land for the Anointed Deacon. But if they counterspell this or cancel it or whatever, that's fine. Yep. Totally fine. It's a counterspell. I knew it was coming. There was nothing I could do about it. I just needed to try to play things. So I will pass. I'm under no threat. I know I have other things better than the Interloper going on. We'll have to see what they're doing. Because right now it looks like nothing. Okay. That's our turn. We don't have Sheltering Light anymore. They didn't see it from us last game, so I don't think they've been playing around it by not attacking. I'm just surprised why they have not attacked. I guess because I could just take the 1 and not let them get a 3/3, and they're just waiting to leave it back as a blocker for me. Okay. Well, they could have another counterspell, but if they do, this time we can leave up Sheltering Light, so I'm going to try it. Let's see how the Bloodletter works out for us. They'll run out of counters eventually, and our bigger stuff is already in our hand. So, okay, cool. And they let it happen. That's great. No attacks from me. I can start getting it in the air, though, which is nice. Which means they may start to actually attack. We'll see. But now that I have Sheltering Light and I know that they have Fiery Cannonade in their deck, I'm going to not be F6ing through stuff anymore because that's a bad idea. That worked out very poorly for us last time. There it is. What did I just say? All right, so who do I save? I save the Flyer here. They're both vampires. This one has lifelink, but I save the Flyer. Sheltering Light on the Flyer, it becomes indestructible, and I get to scry. If they have a counterspell for 2, which I don't think exists in this format. Okay, so now this would be my 5th land, so I will keep it on top. That's a good scry. The Bishop Soldier dies, and that's fine. Oh, and this guy dies too. Okay, so they get their 3/3 that they wanted. That's one way of doing it. If we draw our land, we get the Anointed Deacon. It can buff up the Flyer, which is nice. I'm just going to take the 3, but they're going to end up taking 4. And we have more life to start with, so thanks to the Bloodletter itself. So that's pretty good. They could have another burn spell, and then we're kind of screwed anyway, but it's literally the only play we have because we know what we're drawing. So eventually we can gain some life, but yeah, this is what we're doing. No counterspell. Good. That's what I like to see. On to him. Always yes. Always yield. Perfect. They play, run aground to put this on top of my library. Okay. Sure. Well, again, now that we know what we're drawing next turn, I will still not be blocking. It was at least an option before, but now it is not. So that's fine. All right. Let's see. They fire Cannon Blast to kill it anyway. Nice. They have answers for everything, it looks like. We're going to take another 3, and then we can play the Bloodletter again next turn. Unless they have a counterspell, because they do have cancel mana up again. But it's the only thing that we can do besides trying to gain life. But I don't think we're under any pressure to do this right now. We could gain 6. That's something. But I'd rather just, again, give them as little information as possible, replay the thing they know we have, and then see what we actually draw, because we've known our last 2 draws. Okay, so they end their turn. Again, they're representing counterspell. Or cancel, I should say. But they don't let it happen. So, that's good. And now we can end our turn. Another land would be great. A 3/3 or preferably 4/4 lifelinker would be awesome. Sure. A 5/5 is a 5/5. There's nothing I can do about that. And it has trample, so there's no reason to block. I take 8, go to 8, but I can gain some life next turn if I have to. Sure. Okay. Okay, so I drew the 6th land, so the question is, do we play the Queen's Agent, or do we play the Sanguine Sacrament? If we play the Queen's Agent, and we explore a non-land, which would be great, then it's a 4/4, and we can easily kill this 3/3 with it, taking 5 and going to 3. Well, actually, we'd gain 4 life in the process, so we'd take 1. It can get through counters. They have 2 cards in hand. I think I have to risk it, but it is a little bit of a risk with the Explore. I guess a trade would be fine as well, because I'd gain the 3 life instead of losing it, and then I would just lose 2 total and go to 6. Plus I can attack for 2 this turn, which I might as well just do now. If they have a second charging Monstrosaur, I'm just dead anyway. If I go through with this attack, which I'm going to. And if they have 2 of the best uncommon in the set, then they get me anyway, but I'm not... that's not something I'm going to play around at all, because I've only seen 1 from them at any given time. The Explore gets me a non... Of course. Okay. Well... It's at least another land towards Sanguine Sacrament, excuse me. But I would trade this off here. I guess the issue is, then their 5/5 is still on the board, but if I just... Okay, so I just lose anyway. Great. Okay. Well, congrats. That was sweet. I mean, their deck was sweet, right? I don't think our deck was that bad. I think the Raiders Wake sideboard was good against this opponent, although in this game they didn't do it at all. But we also didn't see it, so it didn't matter as much. But in game 1, they did it a lot. So they win the match. We are going to go to round 2 and hopefully have a little bit better luck, but we will find out about that in just a second. All right, so bad beats round 1. That's life. It happens. I love their avatar. That's so cool. I will say yes. Do we actually have a keepable opening hand? We do, and I will keep it happily. We do have a 5 and a 6, which sucks, but the Hoarder is here, so let's play a Blight Keeper to start it off. Hoarder is next. Let's attack first, just in case. They are part blue. Not that it's hugely relevant for 1 mana, but still. Then we play the Hoarder. I would love another 2-drop or a 3-drop. That would be cool to just curve out a little bit. I do eventually need a land so we can get to Glorifier. They have a Daring Saboteur. That's a great card. Okay. Sure. We have enough removal to hopefully draw some and get rid of that, but we don't see any right now. Let's attack. If they let it all through, they let it all through. That's a tough one. I guess we just attack with the Flyer. We leave the Hoarder back as a blocker. If they pay the mana, sure, but they've wasted their whole turn to deal us 2 damage and loot in the process. But, yeah, I'm going to just go like that. But they can pay the 3. Really? Again? Okay. Headstrong Brute is a good card. Do they control another pirate? They sure do. So it has Menace. That's a relevant thing. Do they attack? They don't. Interesting. I mean, I guess they didn't pay the mana, so it would have been a trade, and they don't want that. All right, so speaking of Menace, I now have an Interloper, which would be super awesome if it could explore a non-land. Although if it does explore a land, I guess we have the Glorifier. But I think I attack first with my Flyer. Get in for this incremental damage until I can get up to 8 mana, if that at all happens. And then I can make them lose 4 and we gain 4. But otherwise, I'm going to play this Interloper, and like I said, hope for a non-land. It is a non-land. It's a Bishop Soldier, and it stays on top. Great. And now we have a 3/3 and a 2/1. The issue is if we are compelled to block this, they're clearly just killing this. But we both have 3/3 Menace creatures. Okay, well now we don't, but I don't know what they'd put it on. They put it on this guy, which, again, if I were to double block, it's dead anyway. It's a 5/4, but now it can kill both. So let's see what they choose to do. They're going to attack. So the thing is, they're tapped out. If we take 5, we go to 15, but then we can hit them back for 3/4 next turn, take them to 13, and we have Glorifier because we know that we have that land on top. So I think that's actually pretty good for us. And we wouldn't be able to keep up Sheltering Light, but I think that's okay to wait for a couple of turns down the road. I'm going to take this 5. That's their whole turn. Oh, right. Sorry, we didn't have the land for the Glorifier. Sorry, that was a different turn. We have Bishop Soldier. That's also fine if we keep up Bishop Soldier and the Hoarder, then we can block this guy. Let's attack with both of these. We'll hit them for 4. They know we have Bishop Soldier, and we can keep up Sheltering Light, which actually would save the Bishop Soldier in the process, which is really nice. So let's do that. And we end our turn, but we do not F6 this time because Sheltering Light is important. Water Trap Weaver to tap down something, which is fine. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to block this guy anyway. If we choose to... Oh, interesting. Okay. They keep our Interloper tapped down. Very interesting. Sure, this time I'll block happily. Block, block. Sure. They're going to order them, and then I'm going to Sheltering Light to save the Bishop Soldier. And I get to scry 1. It's my 5th land, but I'm getting a treasure, but I need 6, and I'll have it so I can actually play Queen's Agent next turn if I keep that on top. So that's good. And they have nothing to back it up, so that guy just dies in exchange for a Hoarder, which gives me a treasure. So that's awesome. And I gained life off of the exchange. So that was fantastic. Okay. So let's attack first with our flyer. Keep chipping away. Now we're going to have to use our treasure, which sucks, but is also important at this point because I really want to play this Queen's Agent. They are in part blue, but they're tapped out right now. Let's explore a non-lay. Yeah, okay. That's great. I'll put that right on this Daring Saboteur. That's fantastic. I don't have to worry about that guy later, and I have a 4/4 lifelinker now. I think we're doing all right. They're a little mana screwed, so we'll try to remember that for game 2. They have a flyer now, but we can have one of those too. Okay. They got a Shipwreck Looter, which I know what this card does, but there you go. And they put it in their graveyard, which is also relevant. I guess they're just really looking for land at this point. Do they attack? I doubt it. Okay. Fine. We get the Pious Interdiction. Should it just go on their flyer? It's incremental 1 damage. But if we attack with this guy... Well, I guess the issue now is if we attack with this turn, along with the flyer, they would... If they double blocked, right, with any of these, it's enough to kill it. We gain 4 life. But I think what we'll do is 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's bluff another Sheltering Light. And let's put Pious Interdiction since they know we have it. Let's put it on the... That's a tough choice. Let's put it on the Saboteur. The flyer won't be getting in for 1 damage each turn, but I think that's okay. Let's go to combat. If they block here, we kill the flyer, keep the Weaver, but I'm going to attack with the 4/4 and the 3/3. They both have, well, this essentially has Menace if they want to kill it. Okay, good. So I will kill the flyer first. We gain 4 life. They take 3. I'm totally okay with that. Great. And that's it for us. If they really want to try and trade off the Weaver for the Bishop Soldier, I'm okay with it. Okay, so this is a 5/5 that can't attack or block alone, which means it will have to start attacking him with this 2/2, which we can kill off pretty quickly. But they could also have it as a blocker for our Menace guy here. But we have a flyer now, plus another flyer here. So, and they're at 9, so this is going to be a very quick game of damage in the air if they don't have something. So let's do that. They can start attacking in. We're at 23. I'm not super concerned. But we have the air advantage. They have 2 turns because we're dealing 4 in the air each turn. They could have another Siren Lookout. They've definitely gotten the land back because they were a little screwed on that earlier. Do they attack? They don't. Makes sense, but at the same time, they don't have anything for our flyers. 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're not going to be able to get to here before the flying inevitability. They don't have any white, so they don't have, like, Settle the Wreckage or something. But they could have, I don't know, like a bounce spell or something like that to get rid of one of our flyers. But we do have Glorifier of Dusk as backup. Or we could replay it. Okay, so they're playing a 3/3 to kill our 1/1, I guess. That's fine with me. Sure. I'll follow it up with this thing that if I pay 4 life is a flyer. And I'll pass. They're going to end up chump blocking with this against either one of these, presumably the 4 power one. Oh, okay, they'll equip it. That's fine. So now they can trade with this guy, and that'll be the only one that we attack with. Okay, we drew a land. So yeah, let's let's pay some life and give it flying and attack. I'm not going to give it vigilance because they're clearly going to block, or they just allow themselves to go to 1, but I doubt it. Yep. It's a trade unless they have something else going on. Nope, it's a trade. That is totally fine. Let's see if they have something to deal with our Shining Aerosaur. And if they do, let's see what we draw next turn, if it's not a land, to try and deal with it. Water Trap Weaver to keep it tapped down. So they have a couple more turns. That's fine. That is totally fine. This Bonded Horncrest was good for them. It stopped our 3/3 in its tracks, which is nice. That happens. Oh, they're playing something else. Oh, they're just equipping. Okay. Sure. Let's see if they attack. They're going to have to eventually. I mean, we are at 21, but they're at 5. So if they're just playing defense at this point, interesting. Okay. Oh my God. Really? Okay. Well, that's my life, right? If you guys have watched this channel long enough, that is no surprise to literally any of you watching. That is what's happening right now. Joe needs to relevantly draw something to help him win the game. Lands, please. That's fine. That's totally fine. Let's see. They have a flyer. Interesting. It can counter a spell or ability, but we don't have any of those. So that's fine. It is that targets you or a creature you control. So I guess if we drew like a Pious Interdiction or something, that would be an issue. Because they'll have a ton of mana up now if they're not playing anything else. What they might be deciding on now is whether they're going to attack with anything. We do have a 3/3 and a 2/2. They have a 4/3, but they can move this Cutlass around anywhere they want, really. They have a Brazen Buccaneers. It's a Haster, and it's a 2/2, but it could be a 3/3 depending on what they find. They find a Mountain, so nope. It's a 2/2. Do they attack? They're building up quite a board. This is very frustrating. Okay, well, it can't do it alone, so it's coming in with the 2/2 Haster. Okay, so they have 2 mana and 2 cards in hand, but I'm not super worried about it. I'm going to block this way. If they have some type of burn or something, that's fine. But I'll take the 5, go to 16. And they have nothing to follow it up. That's good. We draw. Oh my God. I don't know how many more videos I can entitle Do You Like Land or Here's Some Land or whatever. Right now I can attack with this. They can block here. Or they can take it and go to 2. That's an option as well. Or they could have something to play in response. They didn't re-equip, but it wouldn't matter, right? It's only 3. It would only be 3 power, and we have 4 toughness. So let's see if they take it or if they chump. We do have 4 cards in our hand. Yeah, they're just going to take it. That's fine. They go to 2. Sure. But do you have to sacrifice it to use that? So yeah, I mean, the nice thing is if we draw any kind of removal whatsoever that we have, if we target this thing with it, it either succumbs to the removal. Okay, so they're just giving this flying as well. So now it's a 4/4 flyer. So if we use removal on any of these, they're going to have to get rid of this to do it. We do have another Shining Aerosaur, which is nice, somewhere. Oh my goodness. Okay. So the issue is this does nothing for us right now. We do have 5 cards in our hand. That's cool. I guess I'll play a land, since in 5 turns it's relatively reasonable that we would have drawn a land. So we might as well play it as if we just drew it. No attacks, because this 4/4 would kill our 3/3 or 3/4, and then we have nothing going on. So we pass. All right. Well, we need some more anything, really. This is really good for them. This is going to help them out a lot. They are at 2. These things are going to start piling up, and it's going to become a problem very, very quickly. These 2 are going to attack this turn, I assume? Nope, no attacks. Interesting. We draw an Adanto Vanguard. Okay. That's not nothing. It's not amazing, but it's not nothing. Okay. Still no attacks, but we can, I guess, double block that guy if we have to. I don't know. We'll see. No attacks. If they attack with like this 5/5 and the 3/3, they're red creatures. We can use Adanto Vanguard. I guess the issue is like, again, paying 4 life to keep this alive. They're re-equipping onto the Menace guy. Okay. So yeah, re-equipping or paying 4 life to keep this alive now that this is a 5/4 is somewhat relevant. We could also block, gain 2 life, play the Blood Crazed Paladin because all 3 of them would die. That would be interesting. And then it would be a 4/4. It's not, wouldn't kill their 5/5, but everything else it would at least trade with. So let's block and block. I'll let the Vanguard die to make the Paladin bigger. But it's 4 damage. All 3 creatures die. And then on their end step, or they're going to play something else. Stormfleet Spy, so they get to draw a card. I guess before they've drawn that card with only 1 card in their hand, I'll play the Blood Crazed Paladin as well. We had 3 creatures die. It's a 4/4. They let it happen, and they get to draw a card. That is fine. All right. I think that's the best that would have happened with this guy at this point. 2 of our creatures, 1 of theirs. They drew their card. They have 3 mana available. They can re-equip this, and they should, but they didn't. Interesting. Do they... Oh my god. Do they have a counterspell of some kind? That would be interesting. What do we have? 10 mana right now with the cards in our hand as well. This is unfortunate. We could attack with this, but they'll just double block with this and something else, and we'll just kill the other thing that's not this, which would be like this or this. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to pass through this turn. Excuse me. And, wow. This is not working out super well. Okay, so they're equipping the Cutlass to the Stormfleet Spy. It's a 4/3 now. It's good for them. Attack with this and this. Oh, just the 4/3. Huh. We are at 16. I think we can take 4 this turn. Sure. I'm not going to let you just kill my 4/4 with a what amounts to a 2/2 holding a sword. Okay, and they don't re-equip it either. I would have done a lot more things with this Cutlass. Like a lot more. I'm going to use this Pious Interdiction on this. If they counter it, it gets rid of 1 of their flyers. And I think that's okay, because we have more removal in our deck. I guess the problem is, if that removal that we draw after this is like Vanquish the Weak, then this isn't gone, but this is. So maybe we wait. Waiting is not helping us any, but we know how this is going to play out. And with the luck that I've had, if I draw Vanquish the Weak, I'm going to like hate myself. So let's wait another turn, see what else we draw. Oh, they're playing something end of our turn. Okay. They're putting it on top of our library, which is also just card advantage for them, or, you know, detriment to us, because now we just don't get to draw cards, because we just have to draw that Paladin again, or the Vampire again. And they're bouncing this back to our hand. And then just, what, swinging in for lethal at this point? Jesus. It's got to be everybody, right? Yeah, so... Alright, we can block one thing. It's going to be the 5 power, and then we take, what, 2, 4 is 6, 7, 11. So we live, because we gain 2 life also. Unless I'm missing something, which is also totally possible. But let's block the 5/5, which doesn't have trample. At least that I'm aware of. Nope. So we gain 2, but take a bunch. Yeah, of course. Do we lose? They just untap, swing in with everything. Yeah, we lose. Okay, cool. Great. Lovely. Good for them. That was a great fight back, but I don't know what would have happened if we had drawn anything relevant earlier than 4 turns after it started becoming a problem. They didn't have any targets for this. They weren't discarding cards. I don't really see what we could swap out. I think our deck was good against them. I just think we needed to not have all those lands in a row. Let's try it by shipping it back. I have no idea. We shall see, though. Alright, I would love to play first. Do we have a keepable opening hand? We do and we don't. We have the black for the Blightkeeper, the white for the Sheltering Light, but that's it for a while. Fine. They did not mulligan either. We will play a Blightkeeper and pass. On their turn, we will also pass. We can attack first. We drew another land, which is nice, but it's not gas, which is unfortunate. Play this and pass. Incremental chip damage from this is not nothing. We saw that last game. Okay. Another Blightkeeper, huh? I don't know that I even remembered that we had 2. But there it is. We'll attack with one of them. Now it's incremental chip damage from 2 Blightkeepers. That's awesome. And we have Sheltering Light for one of them. If we need it. Okay. Siren Lookout is a flyer. That's a thing. Dive down. Okay, so they get, what, +0/+3 and hexproof for 1 blue? Ugh. Great. Land? Not a land. But we can actually play it. And it's a flyer as well. We won't have Sheltering Light as backup. That's unfortunate. But we can't attack right now anyway, so we might as well just play this Bloodletter and pass. Nope. No attacks from me. No Sheltering Light, so we can actually pass through our turn, or their turn, I should say. Okay, they have... Great. We just talked about there not being a target for that. Okay. So what, they get a card off the top of their library and they can cast it if they want at the beginning of each of their turns. We have nothing to play except Sheltering Light, technically, but that's not helpful to us right now because they have a 2/3. So no attacks here. If they attack, we can double block. That would be nice. What do they get? There's nothing I can do for that. A Sure Strike. So they could cast it for 2. Which, oh my god. That sucks. That really sucks. I mean, it gives it First Strike, which if we give the... Oh my god. If we give this guy Indestructible, it doesn't matter, because then they just deal the damage to this. Although they have to order blockers first. But no, it still doesn't matter, because it's 3. So yeah, we can't this turn with Sure Strike up. So we don't block at all, despite the fact that we have the Sheltering Light to save it. Yeah, that's fine. So I take 5 and go to 16. We can gain life later, hopefully. That was really good for them, that Sure Strike. That helped a lot. But do they play anything else this turn? They have 3 mana. They totally could. They play nothing. They thought about it. They play a Frenzied Raptor. It's a 4/2. Okay. Well, we drew a 4th land, so we have the Interloper this turn, if we want it. We could also swing in for 4. If we don't have Sheltering Light, because we're attacking with the Interloper, we might as well get in for 4 damage. The only issue is then we have a 4/2 coming at us, but still. All right, let's attack with everybody. They can get in for 6. They kind of win that race. But let's play the Interloper. We have a 2/2, or could be a 3/3. Nope, it's of course a 2/2. That's fine. If we need to attack, so they got a mountain, which they can play, I guess. Or no, can they not? It's cast? Cast, yeah. Okay, so they can't. But they can Water Trap Weaver, tap down our Interloper, I assume. But it could be our 2/2. Nope, yeah, it's the Interloper. Okay. And then they get in for 6, and they have the Storm Tamer again. Thankfully, Sheltering Light, they can't counter that. Okay, so they get to just transform it because they have their 3rd spell. Okay. And so what? This adds a red, or they can tap 3 and tap it and deal 3 to creature or player. That's insane. That's insane. Why did they attack with this flyer? I guess as a blocker? Yeah. I mean, they have like insane inevitability at this point, but we're going to keep trying, I guess. 5 mana? That would give us Glorifier or Aerosaur. Aerosaur is better. It doesn't die to this. It does die to this, but we just wouldn't block that way. So let's Aerosaur here. And pass. We could also theoretically Bloodletter block on the 4/2 if they attack with it. It's a trade. It's even for us. I mean, we have the flyer, which kind of sucks, but it's fine. We can make it work. They're going to kill the 2/2. We can't do that plan anymore. And a Daring Saboteur. These red-blue decks are insane today. What the hell is going on? Alright, so we can either double block with these guys. I think that's really our only option at this point, unfortunately. We don't have Sheltering Light up, which sucks, but otherwise they're going to be slowly killed by Vance's blasting cannons anyway. So, yeah, very good. We don't have the Paladin either, which sucks. That would have been a nice follow-up. So we have 6 mana. We can do Glorifier of Dusk, Sheltering Light. We could also do Sanguine Sacrament to gain 8 life and go back to 20. We have a 3/4 flyer, which we can attack with, and then follow up with the Glorifier of Dusk, and then follow up with the Sanguine Sacrament. So I think I'll do that. Let's attack first. They have 3 power of flyers in the air. And since they don't have Vance's blasting cannons this turn, they can't make us pay. They will be able to hit us in the air with those flyers next turn, but we can, well, we can pay some life and go like that and keep up Sheltering Light, which is lovely. All right. Let's see what they've got. We might still be in this game. We might. No promises. But I think there's a way. 1, 2, 3. Water Trap Weaver to tap our 4/4. That's fine. They're going to get in for a nice amount of damage, but we can block one of them and save it with Sheltering Light, and it allows us to scry if we need to get rid of some stuff. All right. Daring Saboteur they didn't pay for, right? So we can just kill it. Or the Water Trap Weaver, but the Saboteur is a bigger issue. So, and that's the same amount of damage. So let's block here. And let's use that Sheltering Light. Oh, Paladin of the Bloodstained is on top. Sure, we're not going to play it yet, but I'll keep it on top because I'm going to Sanguine Sacrament next turn. Okay. Because even though they had the 3, they didn't use it on this. Which is an interesting choice, but maybe they have something in their hand. Like a bounce spell of some kind. That I'm just not aware of. Well, not that I'm not aware of it, but that I don't know why they'd use it. Okay, so they play the Stormfleet Spy to draw a card, and we're at 7. But we're getting 8 next turn, so we can go to 15, because we know what the top card is. It's the Paladin. So this guy stays tapped down, which sucks. We can keep this back as a blocker. We can keep this back as a blocker. And we can gain 8. But if we gain 8, then what is this? 2, 4, 5. It's 9 total damage. So yeah, I think we leave these guys back as blockers. And, well, this has Menace. So they block with both of these. We can get rid of one of them as a trade. I guess that could work. 4, 5, 6, because we can also play both of these the turn after. But it's the flyers that are the biggest problem, so I'll leave back this as a blocker. So let's go with playing the Sanguine Sacrament. Yes. Okay. We go to 15, and then I guess we attack. It dies to Vance's Blasting Cannons anyway. I guess the issue is leaving this back as a blocker means this dies to Vance's Blasting Cannons. But it probably just means we just don't block. I don't care. The Weaver can die just in case you have a bounce effect of some kind. I'd rather you bounce this and draw a card than bounce this and tap one of my blockers. Although you do have, obviously, the other one, but still. Okay. Great. I would love some removal. We did draw plenty of it, although this Siren thing is still here, but whatever. Okay, so they're going to go to combat first so that they can Vance's Blasting Cannons. Oh, interesting choice. Okay. All right, well, let's do everything we can, I guess. If we give this flying, they can just kill it with this thing. So let's just play the Paladin. Whoops, that was stupid. Undo both of those, allow that to happen. Then do that. And pass, I guess. They'll just do it to me at end of my turn because otherwise they can kill my creatures that way. Interesting thing is I assume they kill this, but they might just do it to my face. I guess I could kill this too because it's got lifelink. Yep. Okay. It's the 3/2. That's fine. They don't really have anything they're attacking with on the ground. Everything's in the air now. Okay. Shipwreck Looter for no value. Interesting. All right. So I think at this point they may just be trying to bring down my clock. If I win this game, we go to game 3 and I lose anyway, now that they see that happening. So let's... I didn't pay the life, right? So it doesn't have flying, but it doesn't really matter. Let's go all in. And then we have the bishop as backup. They're just going to kill my flyer regardless. Like, it really doesn't matter at this point. They have this huge 4/4 flyer now that we're not going to draw any of our removal for. So... It's funny. I said last week, the day that this video goes up, I'm actually going to be at GP New Jersey. So if I saw any of you there, that's awesome. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. But yeah, I was saying that I would hope that this would all happen now. All this bad stuff would happen now. And at the GP, I hope to do pretty well, but I'm not pretending that I am any amazing player by any stretch of the term. I'm just there to have fun. It's my first one, and I'm just trying to have a good time. So I just wanted to. Now I have a 7/7 Blood Crazed Paladin. That's fun. Everything they have is in the air, and they can just kill us. But that's fine. They run aground and put it on the top of our library. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we have nothing going on anyway. Nothing at all. We'll take it all. We go to 11. On our turn, we draw a Blood Crazed Paladin. We play it because we have nothing else going on, and we pass. On their turn, let's see what they've got. 7 damage a turn, plus another 3 is 10. They can bring us to 1. Yep. Oh, they killed our creature with it. It's very cocky of them. This does not have haste. Doesn't matter. We drew a land, and now we can concede. Awesome. All right, let's go to round 3 and just mess around and see if we can have maybe some fun, maybe, and not face a red-blue deck. That would be cool. I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, well, we're here for fun. As I said, that's the only reason we're here. We have somewhat of a keepable hand. Somewhat. There's the non-bow of the 2-drop non-vampire and the 5-drop anointed deacon. But that's fine. Let's see how we do. We're playing against someone with the name Treasure Map. I wonder if they did that for the purposes of this format. Like if they started during Ixalan or what. But all right, they're done. We drew a land. Hopefully we explore a non-land. We do. Sure. It can stay on top, I guess. We have a 2/3. That's nice. We also have enough mana to play the Anointed Deacon on turn 5. Which is also not nothing. They are part white as well. They play a Bishop Soldier. I know that card. Okay. We draw a Pious Interdiction. What a surprise. Let's attack. I guess if they don't block, they just gain the life back on this. But, of course, they blocked. Okay, good. Well, they gain the life back. That's good for them. I have a suspicion, and I could totally be wrong, but I have a suspicion, like I said, Treasure Map 81 is kind of indicative of someone who started playing during Ixalan, just because of the name, plus the fact that they have not, this early in the game, been kind of F6ing through their turns. This may be somewhat of a newer player, whether it be to Magic or whatever, which may be why I would not have blocked there at all. I'm surprised that they did. Okay, so they explored a non-land. That's a shame. This is a first striker, but it doesn't help them if they didn't have 3 power. So we drew a Queen's Agent. Gross. All right, well, let's attack first. Do this in the proper order. Okay, they didn't block that time. That's good. Question is, do I Pious Interdiction? I don't... It's an interesting question. I don't think I do. The problem with the Anointed Deacon is it doesn't help us out the turn we play it, but we're doing nothing else this turn. We play the land, at least. I don't know what else they have. I'm going to pass. I could have done it on their 2-1, but it's a 2-1 first striker. It doesn't bother me at all. I mean, if they attack with it, I go to 18. That's not the end of the world. I know what I've got going on turn 5, and then if I draw a land turn 6, they just got their second color, which they're now using to play a Nest Robber. Not bad. Bishop Soldier and Emissary of Sunrise are great cards. So if they are a new player, like I suspect, they're doing a great job. Because those are really good pickups, at least from the draft portion. I don't see those going super late. Yes, I will take the damage. And okay. They have 2 mana left, but I assume because they didn't play anything in past turns that that's just it. Because they drew that land. Yes, okay. Okay, great. We draw a Vanquish the Weak. That's a thing. Interesting. All right, so we can Anointed Deacon here, attack for 2, and then have this back as a blocker. So let's attack first. Like I said, do it in the proper order. Although we already played the land, so technically not in exactly the right order, but still. Okay. Anointed Deacon comes down. I'll pass entirely and see what they have going on. They go to combat immediately. It was a very fast going to combat. Okay, they end combat. And they play a Paladin of the Bloodstained. I know that card as well. It's a good one. We can kill it with a Vanquish the Weak. And we're probably going to, because then they'd have to double block to kill this guy. Which they could also technically do, but I'm going to... Do I Vanquish now, or do I attack first and Vanquish as they block? I guess I have Pious Interdiction as well, but 1, 2, 3, 4, which would leave me with 2, so it's not enough. Let's attack all out. I'm going to use it on himself. Always yes, and always yield. I'll attack with both. See how they block, and leave back Vanquish the Weak to protect them in some way. Okay. They block. I assume just that way. Okay. I guess that's fine. They gain a life, but then they lose 2. All right. If that's what they're going to do, then I might just play Queen's Agent here. We have removal, but I'm going to keep it back. I'm not, like I said, I'm not super threatened by these. Non-land? Nope, it's a land. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. It'll allow us to do both of these next turn if we want to, so. But we have a 3/3 lifelinker to block either of these guys if they choose to attack. If they attack with this, we're just taking 3. I'm not trading these off. Okay. They play Kinjali's Caller. It's an 0/3. It's a somewhat relevant blocker. It can at least get in front of one of these for one turn, or this forever. It makes their dino spells cost less, which leads me to believe they might. I mean, obviously these are dino colors, despite the fact that they've got vampires and etc. in here as well. Yeah, they just attack with that. I take 3. That's how that works. We said that already. That's fine. If they're making their dino spells cost less, they might have something big, like Awakening Sun's Avatar or a Gishath or something like that. I guess they could have Goring Ceratops as well. I could vanquish this, but I don't think I'm going to need to. I think they might block with it against either of these. Ugh, another land. All right, so I think what I'll do is... let's attack all out. Let's have the Anointed Deacon target our lifelinker so we can gain some life and stay in the game. That'd be nice. And then I'm going to attack with all 3 of them. And like I said, I still have Vanquish the Weak as backup. If they do double block stuff or whatever. Because they would need to kill either of these, any of these, because they all have 3 toughness. It's 10 total damage. I'll gain 5 life and go to 18. That's nice. I can gain 2 more off of this. I have this, obviously. So life gaining will not be an issue. But if I guess the next turn I don't draw land would be a nice one to at least consider this with. Because this turn I can do both of these. Okay. So they don't want this to die. And that's the only block they make? That is very interesting to me. I'm going to allow it this turn. Okay. Let's play Pious Interdiction on their 3-2. And leave up Vanquish the Weak, I guess. Yeah. That's it. Like I said, if I don't draw a land next turn, I can at least consider Sanguine Sacrament. Because I might just use Vanquish the Weak at the end of their turn. They have a possibility of an 8-drop right now. Yeah, Goring Ceratops, I called it. That's fine. You know what's actually nice? Vanquish the Weak kills this thing. Oh, that's so mean. That's so mean. They waited so long to get this thing out. Oh, man. They must be so happy right now. They're about to be very sad. Oh, I feel like kind of a bad person. With how our draft has gone today, I shouldn't feel bad, but I do. At least a little. Oh, it's like I didn't F6. I'm just waiting for them to be okay with the fact that they're in their end step. And then I will kill their Goring Ceratops with a Vanquish the Weak. I'm so glad I kept this up. I guess yeah, because they didn't need this. So yeah, I'm glad I did it. Sorry. Your 7-drop dies to a Vanquish the Weak. That's why I do not like Goring Ceratops at all. All right, so I can do the Interloper. I could also just attack first and see what happens. Let's do that. Let's gain some life. I don't have Vanquish the Weak as backup this time, but if they really want to kill one of these 3 toughness guys, I don't really mind as much. They're going to have to start being a little bit aggressive in blocks anyway, because they are at 9, and again, we're attacking for 10. So they have to block at least one thing. They could do the 0-3 on the 2-3 again and still live, but not well. Oh, I was like, is that really the only block? Okay, they do double block. That's fine. I will, I guess it doesn't matter if they have some kind of a pump. I mean, for one red, they don't. But if they had some kind of a pump for the first striker, it doesn't matter how I order this. Oh, they're just chain. Okay. 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 And okay. All right. So they're letting me gain 5 life and deal them 5 damage, but they're killing my Anointed Deacon. Like I said, it doesn't really matter how I order them. So that's totally fine. Yeah, sure. Great. Anointed Deacon dies. That's totally fine with me. Let's do the Direfleet Interloper. Do we explore a non-land or a land? I actually don't care either way now that we have this thing. We explore and get Ixalan's Binding. I mean, I guess it's removal. I'll keep it. I don't think it's necessary to put it in the graveyard. If they play something besides this, we'll use the Binding on that. If they just have this as their only blocker, we'll just use the Binding on that. We had enough to play at this turn, too, which sucks. It would have been nice if we could have drawn that. But we now have a 3/3 Menace, and they only have 1 blocker, so they do kind of have to play something, because otherwise they just lose. They just lose. Okay. Sideboarding. I said I wanted to have some fun. Killing a Goring Ceratops with a Vanquish the Weak is definitely my definition of fun. That's why I don't like Goring Ceratops at all. Our opponent must have thought it was great because they had a nice wide board. I'm going to submit. That was a bad opening hand for us, too. And we kept it, and we were doing okay. Obviously, I understand it is the loser's bracket or the bottom or whatever you want to call it. I'm okay with this hand. Very okay with this hand. 2, 2, 2. 3 lands and a 4. We're great. They kept 7 as well. They play another Kinjali's Caller. Okay. Sure. I will... They probably hate the Seeker Squire, so maybe I start with that. Depends on what I draw. It's a land. Alright, so we have our 4th land now for our Pious Interdiction. It's a ways away. They have both of their colors. That's relevant. Whoa, a Sky Terror. My goodness. Alright. It's a great card. Good target for Pious Interdiction. We didn't see that Sky Terror from them last game. Another land. Alright, let's not make this a habit, okay? Could we? Let's go with Vanguard. We don't have as much life gain this time. We will gain 2 off of this if it lands, but... Okay. Sky Terror is a great card. We're probably going to take 2, unless they feel like they need to leave it back as a blocker for this thing. They do have 4 cards, or are down to 4 cards in hand already. Yep, 2 damage is 2 damage. You guys may have seen this little warning thing over here, but I got rid of it because I want to be able to use this ability if I need to. Alright, so they have an Armasaur as well. The nice thing about this is indestructible is indestructible. So it would kill this whether they use the ability or not. Okay. Anointed Deacon. That's also a card that annoyed them very much last time. So I guess we attack. Does not make sense to leave this back on blocks. The thing we want to leave back on blocks is the Direfleet Hoarder. Do they block? Okay. Sure. Okay. And then for our second main phase, let's play... I know I said the Dire Fleet Hoarder, and I think that's what I'll do. If they feel like attacking with this, then we get to block and let that guy die, as opposed to throwing away our Seeker Squire. Combat happens. Oh, it is both. Okay, sweet. Sure, I will block this way, get my treasure so that I can Deacon next turn. I can make this a Danto Vanguard insane. Or, yeah, because I can wait on the Pious Interdiction on the Sky Terror. Paladin of the Bloodstained is a fine card. Yeah, I don't mind using this once or twice to kill off all their creatures with Anointed Deacon triggers. So, let's play an Anointed Deacon. I'll have my 5 next turn for the Shining Aerosaur as well. Let's go to combat. Anointed Deacon trigger here. Always yes. Always yield. And I will, of course, attack. Something dies. It's actually funny. It's probably just this one, right? Alright, so that kind of sucks. That we pay 4 life to gain them 1 life. But we still have Pious Interdiction. We have a flyer. We have stuff going on. Seeker Squire is going to kind of sit here for a while. But the interdiction's going on this Sky Terror. I'm not too concerned. Huh. Okay. So here's the way I see it. They can't kill the Deacon if I use this, and then the Paladin dies to the Aerosaur next turn if I block with it. So I think I block here. I mean, Deacon, I'm going to trade off, like I'm at 12, right? So I'm going to trade off Deacon for something. And even though this has 3 power, this would kill my flyer pretty easily. So I'm going to go like that, because the Paladin can't offhand kill the Shining Aerosaur. They would have to have some kind of a trick of some kind. Like this. Oh no, they're just using its ability. Okay, great. Does that... Why didn't that kill it? Oh, it's equal to its... Oh my god. Okay. Joe's dumb, everyone. Okay. Great. That sucks. Well, I forgot it was a butt fight. I guess it makes sense. Look at the art. Okay. Rummaging Goblin. That's unfortunate. There's always one misplay per draft for me, but I think we can still make this work. So the thing is, they played another 1/1, which means we can't attack, but we're also not using the ability, so we're just going to play the Aerosaur. Do we lose if we do that? 1, 2, 3, 4? No, because we can just block here. Okay. So we play the Aerosaur. I guess we could attack this turn as well. If they trade off, they trade off. I'm not paying the 4 life, but it's one less thing I have to worry about trying to block in multiple turns, or letting them get card advantage with the 1 card in their hand. If they could use this if they just start flooding out. They could just use this to make sure they draw gas. And with how we've been drawing, we could just be drawing land over and over again. So let's get them off of that engine if they let this Shining Aerosaur come into play at any point. I still can't block your Sky Terror, don't you worry. And now that I mean, regardless, at this point, whether it was power or toughness, this thing would kill my flyer, so I would only be blocking your Paladin of the Bloodstained, which I will do very happily, to be honest with you. Alright, let's attack. There's almost no way. Yeah, they're just going to take it. I figured. I don't want to trade this thing off for their 1/1. Or, I'm sorry. I don't want to block to trade off with their 1/1. I assume they're just going to use this as an engine to get rid of some lands in their hand since they're basically top decking at this point. They had one card before this turn, so. All right. Okay. Sure. I don't know that they know what menace means. I'm not blocking. Unless they intend to block with this? That also seems foolish. They have no other flyers. Unless they play one now. But okay. This is very odd. They're doing this during combat? Discarding a mountain to draw a card, maybe looking for a pump spell of some kind, I guess? That's interesting. Okay. Well, they can now play a Pterodon Knight. They do control a dinosaur, so it is the second flyer. I was right. They were waiting for a second one. Okay. Well, we can Pious Interdiction at least, and then Seeker Squire. I guess maybe, do we Squire first? That might make a little bit more sense. Let's Seeker Squire. It'll explore. Let's see what the top card is. We still have enough for Pious Interdiction, so it's not that big of a deal. But we have a viable blocker on the ground if we get a non-land explored off the top. We can Interdiction on the Sky Terror and then leave this back to block this guy. Okay. Explores us a Sheltering Light. Top of the library, please. That is a great card. Okay. So the issue is this guy is also a problem, but with these two, like, this guy just dies. So I'm going to... Maybe the wrong choice. Let me know. Should it have gone on the Armasaur? I also attack with this. I'm obviously not paying the life, but it can trade with anything, or he's just taking 3 a turn for free. I guess the other issue is, right, he has, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 attackers. We block here, we block here, and we take 2, 3, so we'd go to 2. Oh, no, we gain 2 life, so we go to 4. Yeah, because like I said, I think we know what Rummaging Goblin is being used for, so I think I attack. If they feel like trading off, they don't have the mana to do this turn, so if they feel like trading off any of these 3 for this Vanguard, I would be stoked. I just doubt that that's what's going on. So, let's attack. I assume they just take 3. Because they have a nice cushion to work with compared to ours. So I would be surprised if they blocked this at all. In fact, I'm so confident in not paying the life that I might as well just pass through. F6. As we wait. Always difficult to tell with Magic Online whether your opponent is in the tank or in the bathroom if they just like walked away from the computer. They did just pass priority again, but it took them a while. I don't know whether they were thinking about something or not, but let's see what they do. They're just playing a little slow. I can't complain. I've been doing the same. Okay, they took the damage. It's just an interesting curiosity of mine as to whether they are actually thinking about stuff or whether they're not at their computer anymore at all. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. Okay. Yep. We talked about this. This block's here. This block's here. And we wait for there to possibly be a trick. Nope. It all happens. Okay. Well, that's really good for us. We play the land. They have the mana for this. But if we give this indestructible with this after we attack, it won't matter. So that'll be cool. And we get to scry one, which is not irrelevant. The other thing is we might keep Sheltering Light back for this, because if they attack with this, we can block, make it indestructible, and be fine. Yeah, they're taking the damage. That's great. Even better. Now we don't have to make that tough choice. We will just let them take their turn, and then we can Sheltering Light our flyer when we block. They're going to discard a card, the mountain, and draw a card. Great. Okay, now they're going to attack. I really hope that's what they do. Yes, perfect. Love it. Let's block. Let's wait for them to activate the ability, because if they don't do it, then we don't need to Sheltering Light. But in response to the ability, we will make it indestructible. And kill their Armasaur. We will keep that right on top. That's a great card. Ooh, we're fighting back, boys and girls. We are fighting back. Yes. That is what I like to see. What do we explore? It's a Skymarch Bloodletter. It stays on top. I will attack and attack. They have 3 cards in their hand. That's not nothing. But they could be getting flooded, although I doubt it because they have that Rummaging Goblin. But we can attack them for 6, bring them to 6. And then if we have to chump with this, if they have something scary, I'll do it. Okay, they end their turn. I guess we attack first and see what happens. Oh, they have, whoa. Okay, that may have been a rage quit. I can't tell. Anyway, all right, so we won 1. That's better than the last few weeks if you guys have been following along. It's still somewhat of a streak that we've got ourselves on here. I really hope, I'll let you guys know how I did at GP New Jersey. You might even see a vlog from us, who knows. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. When our logo comes up, you will find out when all these videos come out. We have drafts like this every Saturday. We have Paper Magic product openings every Monday, and we have story reviews with my fiance Amy and I every Thursday. We are actually gearing up to our end of the year top X list. I believe it's top 5 or top 10. We haven't decided yet. Of Magic stories of 2017. So definitely subscribe. You'll find out when all those things come out. Let me know what you thought of this video down in the comments down below. And thank you guys once again, as I said, for watching. I've been Joe. This is Geek for All. And as we always say, in whichever video of ours you watch next, we will see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.